Welcome to Fireteam Chat, IGN's Destiny show. Joining me today is Jose Otero.
Hello.
Fran Mirabella.
Hey, Guardians.
And Sean Finnegan. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You didn't give me a moment. Okay, whatever. It's cool. Go.
No, happy moment. Happy moment.
Welcome back, Jose.
Thanks,
We're all
Sean.
glad
Thank
you're
you
here.
very much.
I'm
Yes,
super happy to have
Dude,
Jose
yeah.
back.
Can we, it's Jose.
Yeah,
He's back.
the prodigal son returns.
The original host
Fireteam
of
Chat.
Fireteam
I need a shave. I need
you look
I need
good,
more
dude.
hours in the day to play Vault. We're
Yeah,
playing
that's right.
tomorrow for the first
Definitely.
time. So
Nice.
we're gonna talk about that, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a second. Don't forget, if you're listening on iTunes and you want to show us some love, leave us some love in the form of a review. Also, real quick, I wanted to let you know that IGN will be the official partner of Twitter this year at E3, meaning if you like to tweet as much as I do, you'll be seeing our beautiful faces all over the place. So, on today's show, today we'll be catching you up on all the Destiny and Destiny 2 news. At the top of the show, we'll be discussing our thoughts on the updates, and this week we'll finally have time to talk about both the Vault of Glass and Crota's End raids at 390 Light. Now, let's get you caught up on everything we learned about Destiny this week. May 18th, the day that Bungie will reveal gameplay for Destiny 2, is just over a month away, and while we've learned little in the form of details, they did say, ever since the reveal, we've cataloged every question you've asked about Destiny 2. We're listening to all of you, and we're so very grateful that you're curious. The gameplay premiere will be a memorable moment, the first time you see Guardians immersed in Destiny 2 action. Keep an eye on IGN for our own coverage of this event as details come in. This week, Bungie did release some images giving us a closer look at the Hunter, Titan, and Warlock from Destiny 2. The Warlock can be seen wielding that Suro shotgun we've all been salivating over. The Titan is holding a golden hand cannon, and in another image, the Warlock can be seen holding what we believe is that Amalon pulse rifle. Back to Destiny 1 now. Iron Banner is back this week. It's going to be Control, and you have a chance to acquire class items, gauntlets, and auto rifles and shotguns while working your way to level 5 in the Age of Triumph book. It'll run from April 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific until the 18th at 2 a.m. Looking forward to the next 390 featured raid. It will be King's Fall. And don't forget that according to the May 23rd Bungie update, every primary from every raid has a new exotic adept version that has been blessed with an elemental damage type. So if you've already completed it, you may want to stop by to see all of the new goodies you can acquire. Did I miss something this week, or do you want to bring up a topic for the show? Call in to talk Destiny by visiting speakpipe.com/fireteamchat. That's all for this week, but expect more news soon. Now, let's talk about those images. Fran, I know you in particular were talking all about the golden gun that the, I believe it was Titan was holding.
It's more like that new, what's that new iPhone color that everybody loves?
Red?
It's the gold.
Rose gold.
Rose gold. Yeah, it's kind of
okay.
a rose gold hand cannon. But anyway, no, I love the detail on that one, not just because it's gold, but just the vents. And there's something about all the new gear, and that's what stood out to me in these, granted, highly rendered artistic concept pieces of concept art. But it seems like there's a lot more detail, and there's just an attachment to reality, if that makes sense.
Even in the fabric and in the metal pieces that are on the fabric, how it will be attached, it's almost like they're making images so cosplayers can easily make their custom craft artwork.
It just looks real. I noticed that on the Hunter too. Just the chest plate looks like it's made out of that NASA space age material.
Fabric, yeah,
but it looks
material,
more. It looks less space fantasy and more real. I don't know. If
So do you think that's the last word?
No, I don't. No, not at all.
No, you think that's just a vanilla, whatever gun you'll find, or maybe
I think it's
legendary if that's still around.
It's probably a Hake hand cannon or something like that. I just say that because of the shape of it. Who knows? I mean, it could be an exotic though, right? Because it looks awesome, but I don't know if they would show exotics yet, honestly. But anyway, the point is, the guns, there's we can't see that much yet, but the details. Same on that Amalon Scout, I think he has maybe.
We're guessing it's a pulse, but it could be a Scout.
Could be a pulse as well, but just the little canister down there right above it is that coil of energy or whatever. But I can't wait to see that come to life, and if the guns have more of that personality.
That's Shoddy.
Be excited.
That's the one I want to see. He just looks so cool holding it, because it's so colorful. All the weapons are so colorful. Your eyes drawn to that in all the artwork. I really like the Hunter's look. Like very sleek,
She
very
looks
badass.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's also the framing of the poster that actually draws your eye to that, because the Guardians are kind of like cut off at the top. So it's like it's very much framed in a way that draws your eye to the weapons.
About the gear.
Yeah, it's about the gear and the weapons. It's cool.
It really reminds me too of like I don't know, when you go shopping at a mall and you see like a mannequin wearing like an outfit, and they very much like it's nondescript because they want you to picture yourself there.
Yeah.
And I feel like the entire marketing campaign for this game, especially because you're not seeing helmets, is very much about, oh, that's you, or Destiny is comprised of all these different people. And I feel like their prior ads didn't really say that much. They just look like, you know, like space soldiers. But now there's just this personal element that they're going for.
I can definitely picture myself as a beautiful hunter when I'm playing Destiny 2.
I mean, I like the hunter look, though. I will say that, because I thought there was a little too much swashbuckling going on with hunter boots especially.
Yeah.
That turned me off.
Those pirate boots, man, the leather boots.
I wasn't feeling the pirate boots. The cutoff should be a bit lower, I would say.
I mean, hunters have always looked the coolest, in my opinion, and I say that as a Titan main. Like, there are some Titan sets that make me look way cooler than everyone else, but they're few and far between. Most of the time, Titan armor doesn't look that great, I think. Just those cloaks, man. Hunters get all the cool gear.
Yeah. But I mean, Jose, coming back to it, I mean, you do play whenever all the new updates come out, but you come back in waves. But
he plays way more than he lets on.
Yeah, no, I know how much exactly how much.
I quietly have been playing a lot, and I'm currently working on the whole. I don't want to do the Age of Triumphs book though. Like,
you don't have to do the whole thing.
Well, you did, so congratulations.
I didn't do the whole book though. Like,
you have
100%. Completes. Eventually, it completes at 100%, but you don't actually have to do every single thing in the book.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
there's a couple things in there that I know I won't do. Like, you got to have a warlock. Never gonna do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you can get away with not doing
that. Was the point of the book. They made that clear. Was like, look, we don't want to feel like you have to complete it every last thing, but there's enough to do in there depending on if you play Trials or if you're a Titan or whatever.
Yeah.
But going back to my real quick question.
Yeah.
We don't hear from you very much. Like, you were there at the beginning, you saw the gear they rolled out with, and I don't know what you thought of the gear to begin with, but now that you see the new stuff, do you think it's just kind of the same, but it's just highly rendered, or are you seeing a change?
Piling on what Fran said, we also want to hear what you just think about Destiny 2. You haven't even really talked about it.
That's true. So wait, Fran's question first.
About the gear, the look of it.
No, the look of it, I mean, it is very much, it looks in line with what I'm expecting, but also an evolution. Like, I feel like it fits within that universe. Like, I'm not looking at it and it feels out of place in any way. I brought up the last word because I think they would show an exotic this early. I seem to remember like a lot of very early Destiny 1 concept art having Thorn in it, or actually it was gameplay. But it was still sort of, you saw Thorn the whole time and you didn't really know, oh, that's an exotic. That's going to be something that I'm going to have to chase down at some point. But Destiny 2 as a whole, I mean, I'm excited. I mean, this is the Taken King team, which inarguably Taken King is the best thing that happened to Destiny in its life. And knowing that, guys like,
it's not dead yet.
No, well, I
in
don't
its
know.
life, span.
In its lifespan for Destiny 1, it definitely Taken King was the highlight, right? And it was the thing that I'll never forget reviewing for several reasons, but especially what came after, and just like how much I felt like a part of the community, and just jumping on Reddit every day and that excitement that came with it. And when you saw that taper off, you got really sad. And I'm really hoping that Bungie is designing Destiny 2 with that in mind, with keeping community conversations going, trying to piece together mysteries, not ending with another lame conclusion like Sleeper ended up being, but ultimately like just kind of finding really smart hooks to keep people playing longer. I mean, and I think the reveals have been good so far. I just can't wait to see gameplay.
I'll bet you they learned a lot from like even the Wrath of the Machine mysteries with like the binary codes and stuff, and opening
that was awesome.
That's
Guardians
so cool.
were so amped about that when it happened. Like, I'm sure Bungie took note of that and they were like, we need more of that. Double down on that.
And people love the long tail on a mystery, right? And piecing it together, and like props to Datto and that crew, Team Math. Or
that.
Math
I mean, it was weeks. It was weeks after Wrath of the Machine had launched that mystery was finally solved, and it's like that's so cool.
And it wasn't easy.
Being there was so cool. Like he's solving it, and I happened to be at the exact spot.
Yeah.
And it's
those are
one
the
of my
stories
favorite
you'll
memories.
tell people, right? Those are the things like I'll never forget the morning I woke up and friggin' Black Spindle.
I was about to say the Black Spindle.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, the good friend of the show, like Mark McDonald, hits me up and he's like, "Yeah, there's this thing called Black Spindle, and there's an alternate exit, blah blah blah." And I'm just like,
"What?
It's 5:30 in the morning.
Why
are you trolling right now? Like you're making this up?" It's like, no,
the daily's up. Go.
Go. And I was like, "What?" So I'm really looking forward to see if Destiny 2 can tap into that, and I believe it will.
Yeah.
But mostly so far, it's still just okay. This is very early, and so it's hard to get too excited, but I'm excited. You know what I'm trying to say?
You're trying to be cautiously optimistic.
I mean, you
You're
want
like,
to
I'm
be
excited, but I
it's
want
not
to
even
be careful.
it's not even cautious optimism. I'm optimistic. I'm excited, but just like we're
We
still
haven't seen
playing the game.
anything
Yeah,
real.
we haven't seen anything real yet, and so it's hard to be it's hard to be a focused excitement because there's nothing detail wise that we know about the game. Other than that, like I love Destiny 1, so that there's a sequel coming out. Cool, that's awesome. I'm excited about that.
And I'm glad they led with the one thing that had to make sense, which was, hey, your gear's not transferring. They found a story reason to justify that. I'm like, okay, I'm with that. Right?
Yeah.
You blew up
Vault
the
blew
tower.
up.
Yeah.
I get it. The stuff wasn't digital. All right, we're good there. That's all right. Maybe now vaults in space will be a thing. We're not sure.
We made a mistake.
Lord knows.
Vault in your ghost. That's all I need.
But I thought
there
that
are
was really
ghosts.
smart to lead with that. They're also leading with more levity and more character. Like, think about Destiny 1 and how every character was someone you met in the tower, but they had no cinematic presence, or they had very little cinematic presence.
Then they did a little in Taken King, and they're like, "Oh, this works."
I mean,
Yeah, and that was
they
the
did
thing.
more than a
Taken
little
King
in
was
Taken
this
King.
pivot
Yeah.
where Cade just became this really cool guy you wanted to learn more about. When you think of the speaker was never cool.
No.
The speaker will never
could
be
tell
cool.
you.
I hope the Red Legion killed him because I'm done with him. Like I want a replacement. Bungie, if you're listening, I'm being really extreme with that. But you see right away that they're hitting on those notes, and those were very important beats that got missed. But that got picked up later.
Yeah, that was what I expected to happen, is for them to want to sell everybody on the story quality and call it referring to it as the campaign quality, even though we haven't seen the gameplay. But like, I've been talking about this a lot around the office of like, that's what, again, Bungie was known for with Halo.
Yeah.
They sort of owned the sci-fi epic campaign shooter.
I need a weapon.
Yeah, and so exactly, they come out with this new space epic again, and you dive in and you're like, wait, where is that, like, the story with
Even
the characters and the, right?
Their marketing material is weird too. It's a guy reading a book and then telling
remember that.
stories,
Yeah,
and then you're on the moon and you.
Was it?
Well,
Yeah.
they were trying to make it very like the Jungle Book and very like this is the story you're reading to your children, and this is the lone wolf.
It's
and
too
part of the
ethereal.
pack.
Become legend.
But-
It was a bit too high art, I would say,
Yeah.
versus what they're doing now. For
This
sure.
is
Right.
pretty
But-
clear about what it's going to be.
Totally.
It's going to be a fun shooter you play with your friends. And
Oh,
you get a
it's
ton
also
of
True, but
and a new villain appears. I mean, how cool is that?
But the point I was making, I expected them to be like, we have to sell people on the story. It's the most talked about thing, and it was one of critics. It was one of their biggest complaints over and over. I have no idea what's going on. But yeah, I like that they're really leaning into that. I keep saying that on the show, but that's what the trailer does a good job of.
Yeah.
What's interesting is we've all gone out and pre-ordered for a game that we honestly have no idea, and like it's an interesting reminder.
I haven't either.
You know, speaking
I know what
for
you mean.
myself.
I did.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you're
Just rather-
assuming, like, just a reminder, right? Like, sometimes the games
that
come out like
garish
Zelda,
backpack.
and they're like, wow, it was way more than I expected. Holy cow. And sometimes they come out like Mass Effect Andromeda, and you're like, how did this happen? We never know, is my point. But I do have faith with the direction and all that they've learned that I'm super excited for
Absolutely.
it. But
Hey, if it's a disaster, we got a lot of material for the show. But I have a lot of confidence in Bungie. I don't think that's going to
Yeah.
happen.
And I think picking the Cabal to lead is very important because the Cabal never. I think there's the first rate's Cabal. I mean, like
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
We're just,
yeah.
that's just this is an obvious thing.
Well, they've shown the raid boss, basically.
Yeah, it's about
so
time.
It's scary.
Like it's good. Like because you went through all of year one, you didn't pull the trigger on that. Surprisingly, instead you chose the Fallen twice, which. Yeah. But Wrath of the Machine still ended up being a great raid.
they're
though.
splicers,
All that
but
aside.
yeah.
I mean,
they're
they're like
different,
I know what
Jose.
you
They're a
mean.
variation.
They're like an evolution of them.
If they stood side by side
have
and
a-
didn't have the red smoky effect, you would have no clue.
They're infected versus taken is a big difference. So, no,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
But yeah, so I'm excited about that too, and I hope that they, it's interesting when we praise the Taken King because the storytelling that was there was still very simple. It was a revenge story, right? It was Crota's pops, who whether you thought Crota was a cool villain or not, I mean, all that spectacle for a guy that was like this big.
Yeah.
We can talk about that at a different time.
I mean,
but
back in the day, he was real big.
It was.
He was
compared to you.
But then we went to King's Fall,
Yeah.
and you were like, "Whoa,
Whoa.
Papa,
Yeah.
Crota Papa does not play
Oh,
around."
nice. Yeah. Works.
But But yeah, just I'm eager to see where all of this is going to go. Like that's I guess the point I'm trying.
I think they've learned a lot for sure. So.
Let's talk about what's going on in Destiny 1. So right now, all the raids are being remastered. We played Crota's End, Vault of Glass, and next week we are getting Taken King, guys, or King's Fall. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what do you guys think about the remastered raids? I am loving them. I'm loving the new challenge. Going back and playing Crota's End this week and not getting the same amount of drops, it's kind of like, oh, man. But otherwise, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun running it 3 times a week.
I mean,
getting the huge drops, huge gears.
To me, going back to these raids is a bit of, it's more about the nostalgia and going through the raids that you already knew. And I like that they added in some places like kind of new mechanics. Like in Crota's End, there's that part when you cross the bridge and everyone has to grab a sword and kill knights for like
Great
4
job.
minutes. That's awesome. Yeah. And when that first popped up, me and my whole crew were like, this is super cool.
Yeah.
Because that's really fun, right? I was expecting a little bit more of that in Vault of Glass.
Me too, yeah.
And then also just on the difficulty level, like it kind of would have been nice. I was talking about this with Brian Malkowitz, one of our producers out there, who's also a big Destiny guy. We kind of wish they were a little bit harder. Like it's a nice challenge, but we still did both Crota and Vault of Glass like in an hour. Like it didn't take us too long.
Vault takes a bit longer just because of how it's paced. But yeah,
it's just it's a longer raid for sure.
Yeah.
But even then, it didn't seem all that difficult. It wasn't at all like the first time you jumped into the raid and you were like, "This is really hard. Like, how are we ever going to do this?"
Well, you know the mechanics though, so you're never going to have that first.
No, yeah, and I'm not saying it needs to be exactly like that,
tricks.
but it would have been nicer if it was a little bit more difficult. Is all.
Yeah, you got to choose your battles there, though. You know, I think that was an argument that folks made for Wrath of the Machine. You know, some where there's like, "Oh, it was way too easy." Others were like, "Thank God, it's like sane and it makes sense to me."
Half an hour is a good time range.
Yeah,
Half
I mean,
an hour to 45 minutes.
Yes, yeah, I don't know.
I think it depends on who you are. Is all I'm saying. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong. I think there's just
you're totally right. And in my personal perspective, as like someone who was a hardcore raider in WoW and stuff like that, like I look to the raid to be this ultimate challenge of difficult PvE content, where it's like, if you're not good enough or you're not fast enough or you're not smart enough or you don't make the right decision in the right moment, you should fail. And it should be really, really tough. And those raids were that when we first jumped into them. And I'm not saying that they should be now because we already know the mechanics, but if it captured a little bit of that essence, it would have been cool.
Yeah, but it's a remix, right? Like it's a remix of an old song, you know. And
and that's what I said. Is like I feel like it leans a little bit more on the nostalgia.
Exactly. There's a different beat to this, or there's slightly different lyrics, but this is the song that I like. So I've only done Crota's End. I'm actually gonna be running Vault of Glass tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I will not be streaming any of it.
Oh, okay.
But
stream a little bit. In case
I actually need to ask you guys too how your raid off went. I don't know the answer. So.
We'll tell you.
But so Crota, one of my favorite openings of a raid ever, just because of the whole like wandering in the dark part.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. The bridge encounter was really fun. Was bummed though that Crota, the end boss, is still bugged in some ways. I think teleported on us. And also
swords falling through the floor.
Yeah, we had a sword fall through the floor. He teleported onto a bridge at one point, and then he also kept doing that annoying thing where his shield is down. He's taking it. But wait, nope.
Really, he did that.
No, it's happened to us before too.
He got us several times with that.
And just unplug your internet, by the way. Fixes everything.
I
that old
I want to throw shade at a good friend of mine for doing that the first time.
Twice in a row, I was our third sword bearer, and one time my raid team keeps like blaming me because I failed twice in a row. Once because they shot him with rockets and he didn't go down fast enough, and then he just punched me. And then the second time, a thrall appeared in front of me as I'm running towards him, and it just like Shaquille O'Neal blocked the out of me, and like I couldn't get around him. Like I bounced off him once, bounced off him a second time, and then by the time I got to Crota, I didn't have enough time to get 3 swings in.
Are you familiar with the YOLO night? Do you remember that? I think we talked about that way back in the day. So at the start of the last encounter, it's the knight that will
run through the door.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's amazing.
Like, zero, like I can't curse on the show. He just straight up guns for you, just and that's it. You're like, wait, what?
The joke was like that my raid team kept making was that like Bungie went so hardcore in fixing all of our exploits, but not any of the raid's exploits. We can't break the raid, but the raid can still break us.
Yeah, no, totally. But other than that, I really thought the oversoul in between phases on Crota added this dynamic where you had to take it out quickly, so you needed, you know, Unite Hawks. You needed to have
Gave
a
you stuff
strategy
to do
take
then,
them down.
too.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
sitting there.
So was there always a second Oversoul, or is that a new addition as well?
It's every time you hit him with the sword, basically, you get
every time he
Oversoul.
comes up.
Yeah,
No, but
it
like-
used to be at the end.
No, but I mean,
or if someone
haven't you
someone
gotten
died.
2 Oversouls in one sword before? Has that not happened to you
So
guys?
if you down him,
you're
then down him
supposed to-
again, you'll
Yeah.
get
Oh, okay.
2.
Yeah, you're supposed to get 2, and I love it because it basically will impact if you get a second round of sword swings or not. And it's so funny how they turned the tables, right? Before it was the whole raid team will be sitting over there waiting for something to do while the sword guy is like just chopping, and that was part of it. Now the sword guy is waiting because he's like, all right, did you guys done with this Oversoul yet? I can't put the sword down because if I put it down, challenge unaccepted.
Yes.
Right? So that's the thing. You're not allowed to let go of that.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear your Vault stories, and I do want to hear how your raid off went. So,
Real quick though, while
Okay,
we're
so-
still on Crota,
oh yeah.
have you guys seen the video of the guys who do it in one sword?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's
showed
really
pretty
cool.
straightforward.
If you're interested in that, there is a group of people out there who use a bunch of raised lighters and they kill Crota in one sword. Just go YouTube it. It's really awesome.
Basically, the strat is down him with raised lighters, and then double bubble on the left, and then
And
get him
Viking
hit him with
Funeral with
super
Weapons of
Warlock.
light. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
you
I
just nuke him with every DPS thing you can, basically.
Yeah, I just didn't realize you could go at him with a sword as part of the DPS during, you know, taking
The swords
him
are
down.
just to take him down, I believe.
Yeah,
Quickly.
but he's poking away at you with like
They're all
No,
poking
no.
away.
like,
Yeah, they're all hitting him.
and stuff. Yeah.
I thought it was additional DPS. That's where I was
No, I
confused.
think it is.
Like,
You'll have to
you
check
wouldn't.
out
yeah,
the video.
you
Even
can
if he
already
was-
do bubble with one sword. That doesn't get
No,
you
but
there.
if you were just the sword bearer, weapons of light plus Viking Funeral, you still wouldn't be
That's
doing
what
enough
I'm
damage
saying.
to
Yeah,
kill
they
him. So
debuff.
those swords have
They're
to
doing
actually-
damage during, like, that's just, it's an interesting facet. But yeah, you can hurt him with a sword while he's down, I guess, right?
It's just
I haven't
great to
done
watch
it.
these
It's
videos where
amazing.
people break the game. Basically, it's like you're
Oh,
not
it's
supposed
awesome.
to do that.
So
It's great.
the strategy seems pretty simple, but like most people who are really good at the game, they make it look easy.
You
when
gotta be
it's not.
coordinated.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome to watch.
It is
A
really
gang
cool to
of
watch, though,
swords, and they're standing next to him, and like, you guys ready? And they charge at him with like
an invis,
6
a hunter
freaking
invis,
swords.
yeah.
It's
Crota.
awesome. And they're like, this one guy's like meleeing him with, you know, the Sun Singer, like just debuffing him, throwing nades. Poor Crota, man. That was the worst beating I've ever seen him get.
It's
It was
really
amazing.
cool.
It's amazing.
It's definitely good. As for the face-off, it was against Destiny Community Podcast.
Yeah.
I think we lost by 40 points.
40 points.
It was really close. Basically, had
40
we
points
got
is close.
It was.
so
That was
it
out.
was out of 1,020
1,000,
points.
no,
we finished with 980.
1,040. I'm sorry, no, you're right. 1,020 to our 980 points.
Basically, had we done it on our first run, and we almost did, we would have
almost
won,
won.
but we did it on our second run, which means they won.
Crota. But that wasn't the so Chariona and Pope Bear came up with this really clever system. They really thought through, like, if you get a chest, there's a reward, but obviously the penalty for time's in there. And they didn't know for sure because they hadn't tested it, but props because the game was that close. So shout out to those guys for putting it together. It was a ton of fun to do it on this like points-based system. It actually got me thinking, like, when raid challenges were coming out, I thought there might be something like that, like scoreboards and, you know, a little bit of Prisoner of Elders. But there is definitely
Do it the fastest.
there's something to that side of it, like just a score for your team in the raid that you can go up against another team or something, or just scoreboards would be really cool.
At one time, Alfredo Diaz had Crota down to like 18 minutes.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, he could run through the whole raid.
We tried to get him to play with us. He was not available. He
busy.
couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
You too,
He's-
Jose.
Well, he's
Turned
like
me
my
down as
PlayStation
well.
character wasn't leveled. That was his.
yeah. He plays on Xbox, so.
Yeah. So yeah, moving on to Vault of Glass. What do you guys think about those? You think it's too easy? I think it's
Okay,
totally.
hold on. Let's not
That's what you
twist my
said.
words. I wish it was a little harder. That does not mean that I think it's too easy. I just wish that it captured a little bit of that initial, like, wow, this is very, very difficult. And it doesn't quite get there. That said, the Atheon encounter specifically, I think the way they changed that, I will never change. I do think that the way they improved that raid made it, or that encounter specifically, made it harder in the right ways. Like, I love the challenge of everyone having to do one oracle in the portal and
I
people
love
coming
that
in
the-
and out. That's all
They
really
have to
cool.
go into the portal. I
Yeah.
love that because
Yeah.
they get to see what's going on. If you never get teleported, then you at least know what the mechanic is.
Yeah, so if you don't get teleported, wait, are we
Spoiling
talking about
stuff
this?
for Jose over here.
That's
by
all
the
right.
way,
I don't mind. We're running
But if
it
you haven't done
tomorrow
it,
night.
you know.
Yeah, it's
Very,
fine.
it's minor. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
joined
like,
the show knowing
But
that
still,
the-
me, I
knowing-
would.
Sorry.
It's up to
That's
you,
fine.
Destin. You
knowing
know?
how to do it is very different.
I don't
than
know if we want to give away
executing.
all
No,
this
no,
stuff
that's
for
fine,
people
yeah.
playing this weekend still, you know.
Okay,
up to
well,
you
we
guys.
won't talk
All
about
right.
the specifics, but the way they changed it, I thought was a really a big improvement over the way it used to be, and it made it a lot of fun. And I got Fatebringer on my first try, so
I
bam!
got two. I got
There it
two
is.
Fatebringers, and
Yes.
now all I get is Atheon's epilogue.
So yeah, for me it
Atheons.
was the
Yeah.
so the drops are definitely really interesting now. Where I got a lot in Crota's end. I got 2 Fang of Air Utes. That's where the feeling double.
I got everything.
Double of the same
Really?
always feels bad.
Everything?
Wow. But I ended up getting
not armor weapons.
Yeah, just with those 2 runs, I got, you know, the helmet, I got the gauntlets, and I got the boots. I still need a chest piece, but I got all that through.
Wait, but you got double Fang of Air Utes on the same run?
No, not
separate runs.
No, the same run. Yeah, I got the beginning and the end. So that the guy gotta fix, man. But then I go into Vaulted Glass thinking like, oh, I'll be good, and then I definitely got good weapon drops. I got Found Verdict. I got Praetorian Foil back. I'm a huge Fusion fan, so excited by that.
I got 2 of the sniper.
Yeah.
I was super happy.
I got Fatebringer and I got Pray This Timepiece all in one run.
Wow.
But I got no armor
Pray
drops.
This
Yeah.
I got a ton of Sublime Engrams, and I was like, timeout. They got to balance that out too. Again, I'm not complaining about
Reminder,
this,
loot
but
still broken.
Yeah.
it is, man. The balance, the RNG. So I hope they fix that in Destiny 2. But anyway, I had fun. I only played it once, and I say it that way because, like, yeah, it was so rehearsed, and I thought there was going to be some more changes. It felt like, you know, I needed to go in and play it a different way, but we just like powered through it. There was a few guys who had already done the
Answer this for
challenges,
me. Did they change the Templar? Did they change that
Not
Yeah,
really.
they shortened it a tad.
A little bit.
a tad?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not
I gotta see how
drastically
it feels.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oracles are a little shorter.
But it's smart. It's more balanced. That's the biggest thing you'll notice, Jose, is like, remember, like, just freaking hiding and stuff in the Templar,
Yeah.
and all that.
Hiding
like,
in the crack of the walls.
Yeah, they've really balanced a lot of that out. That you feel way more in control, and it's not crazy.
I always feel bad for Luke when people bring up like that you can hide. He's like, yeah, we didn't really design.
No, I know.
that. Just saying.
Yeah, like the way people get out of having to play some of these things.
So my
is
first
What do you do?
time
Oh, I snipe up there with
Oh, yeah, we
I
put a-
sniped up there with
Yeah.
you once.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Remember that time we took Pear on a raid?
Oh,
and we
dude.
saw him fall during
Yeah.
the jump puzzle.
Oh yeah,
That's so
One of
good.
the most amazing.
I mean,
Destiny
those
raid
are the stories that you tell people, though. Is like,
I could tell.
I remember, like,
story.
there was a point
Never
when
became legend that day.
there was a point when, like, we got back to the bridge and everyone was like in Crota's end, and we were like, wait,
Sword.
does anyone remember how to do this actually the right way? Because I had only ever exploited
You
it.
gotta kill yourself, and then the warlock reses themselves.
Yeah, you
and
spawn on
then
the other side.
you're gonna fly across the chasm with the sword.
I was always like, instead of figuring out the
I
glitch,
forgot
can we
too.
just
Yeah.
do it? Like, can we just do it the normal way? Because
Yeah.
the glitches aren't that much faster.
So I'm embarrassed. I will say it on the show though, because that was like 2 years had almost passed. I was playing with Pope Bear the night before the raid. We just did some practice, and he trolled me a bit, I think. But they were across the bridge, and like, I don't know, it was like super late. I hadn't played in forever, and he said something like, I asked, I was like, oh, wait, I got to wait for the sword. He said, no, come on over, you know? Like, I just started running, and then of course, I fell down in the chasm because the bridge was not formed, or I couldn't cross it without the sword, you know? But I was like, that much time had passed, and I didn't play it right so many times. Shut up, Destin. I'm telling the story because of the point.
He's
like,
right.
I legit broke the game in so many different ways, flying across But yeah, it's hilarious. Destin knows everything about Destiny, though, so we're going to have a little quiz the next show.
Oh, okay.
So since you're such a pro, Destin.
Well, I'm just talking about, you're like, oh, the game did this, my controller.
Oh, whatever. No. Meaning I thought it was like 2 years having passed and playing it in broken ways, like sniping from the rooftop or flying across. I did all that.
No, for a long time, I didn't know how to do the Templar without sitting up on the ledge
people
sniping.
don't
I was
know.
like, wait, where do you stand?
And I did. I've done it all the right way. It's just I was like, wait, what? Like I thought, and also the raid had changed. I thought they were saying something changed.
I guess for me, because
hilarious.
I ran the raids pretty regular and we did it the broken way. I'm like, can we just do it the way we're supposed to, just to
I
try
know.
it a different experience? So I kind of learned how to do it the normal ways, and
We
I had a
did
lot
that.
of fun doing it.
Yeah. Eventually, that was the fun when they balanced a few of the fixes, and remember when we had to play the bridge regularly? It was like, I remember talking to everybody. I was like, oh, good. Like, we actually can just play it normal because, like, half the people are sitting around.
Well, the bridge encounter was one of the better ones. I was sad to discover how folks were like, sort of breaking
Skipping
it. It was one of our earliest conversations, I feel, on this show.
That was
where it
awesome.
like, why are you cheesing? Like, cheesing the raid is a bad idea. But I will say though, there are still bugs even on that bridge we ran into where like it didn't form like properly, or it immediately, like a section of it, like you had to kind of jump and use the sword to like get over.
In the new one?
Even in the new one,
Dang,
some of that stuff's still there, and that's why this sort of farewell to Destiny 1 is kind of. It's great because you're getting adept weapons and you're getting like these raid experiences again, which I never thought they'd do. I think it was a smart way to do it in saying goodbye. And I'm really curious for them to even, when they get around to answering the question, when are these servers off? Like, when do we really say
They
goodbye?
said it'll be a while. They kind of
September
said that. They said that
8th.
already.
September 9th.
Well, no, remember, they already said we intend to support this for, I don't know the exact quote. It was like a long while. Like, they hinted it's going to go as long as the community supports it. So
I almost want to take a stake bet on that and say sometime in
It'll be like 3 years.
No,
3 years?
I think
Minimum.
in 2018.
you think?
By June, that will be gone.
3 years is an eternity nowadays.
I think it will last at least a year. I only say that because there's still a ton of game value there. There's a lot of people who
None of it carries over to D2. Like,
no, it doesn't.
Why?
I know, but you get those people. It's crazy how many people continue to play Halo 2, right? We talk about that a lot on the show. Sure. Bungie has that magic where people are going to want to go back and play, for some reason, the old trials, the old raids. They want to. Yeah.
I have to, you didn't do this, but I have to ask you guys, did you guys do the Gorgon challenge? I did it last night. It was really fun.
I'm going to do it this
really
weekend.
Fun. Yeah. There's a challenge in the Age Triumph book to kill all the Gorgons in the raid. And yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. It's really, really fun. Basically, the strat we use is Titan bubbles and all hunters.
Swords.
Okay.
So with tether.
And
swords are the key.
all day.
Swords.
It's not like the old Grimoire challenge where you just had to kill one. It's all of them.
We had one hunter with Celestial just in case he like bounced far away, but we did it, and it was really, really fun to do.
That's a hard challenge, man. Like, I don't know.
Their damage doesn't get it like hits a cap now, so they don't just keep getting stronger.
Okay, I would skip that.
If it was the old way,
don't do that the first
it'd be
time.
impossible
maybe.
after the old.
Go back and do it.
It's really fun.
Last.
It's really fun though.
Okay, cool.
Do the raid first and then go back to that one. That's what I'm doing this weekend. I'm going to do it this weekend.
Got it. Okay.
I think that's everything for what's going on in Destiny 1. We talked about the images, and I know the images are like a small thing, but for me, I'm just like, it's so cool to just look at the marketing materials and think about like what might be coming. I love having those conversations with you guys.
Oh yeah.
I mean, half of our show is wild speculation.
Yeah.
So of course it is, right?
I
look at those images and I'm like, cool, but like they don't really tell me too much, you know.
We got 5 months to go before the game's out, but thankfully there's these beats coming. You know, May 18th, the gameplay reveal, E3. Hopefully see more there. Then the beta's coming up. Then obviously they'll have announcements.
May 18th, beta.
Or E3. Like I'm really impressed.
E3 is before E3, Jose.
Maybe it's playable then at E3.
Yeah. No, I mean it has
behind closed doors or
like they open up the beta during E3. Is that
no. Maybe like you get to play the first mission or
that's what he's
something
saying.
behind closed doors.
Like in other words,
at E3 probably
potentially.
He's saying like they'll show it to us and then maybe that's when we play it or whatever.
Yeah.
If they're doing a gameplay reveal.
Well, if they're doing a gameplay reveal 2 weeks before.
We'll see. I mean, I actually think like think about it. They're doing a gameplay reveal before E3, and that did surprise me. We all thought it was going to be on the stage. A PlayStation is the first big unveil.
I didn't think that. I said 2018, but
yeah, and I can't wait for
Also, it won't be
dinner,
called Destiny
Sean.
2.
I'm just
no one has said Destiny 2 yet. It could be called 2 Destiny.
Some filet mignon. I like a good petite Syrah, Sean, with my steak. I can't. No, just anyway. So what I was getting at is it totally surprised me when they said May 18th, and I thought a couple things flew through my head. One was, wait, okay, so Call of Duty's got to get unveiled still. Maybe that's partially why. But they always do that before E3 already. But now I'm like, they got 2 games, so they like this strategy. But normally that's what happens a little bit with Call of Duty is like you actually see a lot. I mean, potentially even play it before then. Like this is their E3 before E3, so anything could happen. Either way, I just can't wait to see finally see the game.
Well, and they should.
And we are so close.
May 18th reveal, and you can play it right now.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Right. And they dropped the beta. That's not.
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is hands-on impressions or something timed within a week of that.
Yeah.
Reveal.
Totally.
Like if they're gonna reach out and hopefully, if you're listening, talk to some of us and get us out there to go see it.
The hands-on thing will be.
This isn't begging. This is reality. Like it's not going to be that they're just going to show it and sort of step away. This game is very community driven. I mean, the show exists because of that, right? It is very much about different folks who have the experience to talk about it and not just have Bungie sort of leading it and being the only ones really having anything to say. That's just not what made Destiny popular in the first place. So I hope that is how this is going to play out, that we'll have some early impressions before everything hits the fan at E3, because E3 is so crowded. You don't
that's what I was going to say,
that.
Jose. You know more than anyone all the meetings you've had to take before E3 because why? The publishers are worried about what? The noise.
Yeah,
you have enough time to write.
Yeah.
So I think there's a good chance.
Plus, like you pointed out, Destiny specifically has a really long tradition of bringing in influencers and players who have built their careers or built content channels around that game to kind of help bring the content to the community.
Definitely. Guys,
We'll do
I
that.
can't wait.
we got to wrap it up. Sean, any final thoughts?
No.
No? Got it. Fran?
I
I'd like to give you
could
guys the
go on.
opportunity. You can talk Destiny
Well, in case you
2
missed
or
anything.
Oh,
right?
actually, yeah, I do want to ask you guys, did the Scorpio news impact your thoughts on
Yes.
how Destiny 2 is going to play with Xbox?
The only thing that's going to impact my decision about where I play Destiny is if I can transfer my character to a different platform like PC or something. That's my thought.
If GTA can do it, Destiny can do it.
Yeah, I got to ramble on this. So yeah, first of
Ramble.
all, a
I'll see you
ramble.
guys.
First of all, the Scorpio stuff just got me thinking again about how important I think it's going to be to have the PS4 Pro and Scorpio enhancements. I think that's going to be pretty clear. Maybe, I don't know when we hear about or how they do it, but I think, right, it's early enough. The game timing's perfect. I mean, we don't know when Scorpio comes out yet, but point is, I think that's going to be...
said holiday.
November.
But I think, right, we don't have a game today with Destiny where it's got clear PS4 Pro enhancements. So that's going to be exciting to find out. Maybe we even find out at the event. That would be awesome. But what really got me thinking was last year, what excited me most that I said Microsoft, like, yes, you're listening, you're thinking, was Windows 10 crossplay. And they announced first-party games, Sea of Thieves, Gears of War, Forza. Awesome. Now I can buy, if you guys don't know what that is, you can buy Forza, Gears, whatever on your Xbox One, and then you own it on your Windows 10 and just go play it on PC. That is
Play
so
Anywhere is
cool.
what they call
Now
it.
that's Play Anywhere. Yes, sorry, it's not true crossplay,
But
right?
PS4.
Well, depending on, doesn't Gears support, I think, crossplay?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Gears support crossplay.
Like, wait, so
Wait, crossplay as in I can play against
Doesn't
PC
it?
players?
I don't
thought
believe
know
so. Yeah,
about
like
that.
I don't
I was
think
talking to
console players. I mean, I don't know for sure.
I was talking to Sean Payne.
Most shooters don't take that chance.
Because-
Gears might, but I don't.
So I may be
This is a
misled by
whole
this,
topic, Pandora's box we could open up. So what's your...
but
what's your thoughts
it doesn't matter. Regardless of that, what I was getting at, let's go off crossplay for a sec.
Yeah.
I just want to point out, I think it's such a cool opportunity for Destiny above all, because of the type of game it is, that for Xbox One or PC, you're going to get to own it on both. That could be one of the first games that's not first party to do it. I think it's poised perfectly. So we might be in a situation where we get that. And then on top of it, obviously, the enhancements for the, just think of playing it high-end PC, PS4 Pro, Scorpio, whatever. I'm just excited that it's going to finally, I hope, be optimized for all those
Well, and
experiences.
PC says to me it will be, right? Because
Yeah.
with PS Pro coming out, they took the hard pass. Like Destiny 1 did not get a significant update to take advantage of PlayStation Pro.
Well, they're like, we'll be good in a year.
And to be fair, Destiny 2 was in development, so I'm sure that they didn't see the need to put the resources towards that. Instead, stay out of it, wait until Destiny 2 to really take advantage of it. And it's serendipitous timing because they'll have an Xbox, a new Xbox to work with that has a higher ceiling. And then they'll have the PC as well, where they're going to have, it'll probably be the best experience. I will say this, though. I already asked my raid team, I was like, are any of you abandoning ship to go to PC version? I just want to know now if this group's breaking up. And everyone agreed they're going to stay on their PlayStation 4. So I'm curious if people listening to the show or you see yourselves going over to the PC.
Like I said, only if I keep my progress, because I don't want to lose all that work.
Because
I did.
I
don't think anyone does.
Both characters on Xbox One. And I joined you.
But at the same time, like, this is a brand
new.
new game, so what progress do you have to
Yeah, I mean, your face is the thing you can transfer. That's all we know.
I don't know. I feel tied into that character and that progression,
and that's fine.
don't wanna
I
lose.
actually don't think that there's probably going to be a lot of people defecting from PlayStation to Xbox because of Scorpio. I just think it's an interesting situation that, given what we know about Project Scorpio so far, games like Destiny that are multi-platform might be the best looking as far as the consoles go on Xbox. Which is crazy.
it should be.
So that is a huge topic, you guys. We can't cover it today. We have reached the end of our show. I'm sorry. But it's a great topic for the next episode, Sean. Before I go and Jose does the outro with us, I just want to give a plug to our teammates at IGN. If you like movies, IGN is hosting The Fate of the Furious red carpet premiere featuring the cast live on Saturday, April 8th at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Fran, that's like everywhere, right? That's IGN.com for sure.
Check IGN.com for all the details. We're usually on every platform out there, but just come to IGN.com, check it out.
I have done the promo 4 times this week on 4 different shows. It is definitely IGN.com, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter.
Perfect.
Should have called it the Fate Bringer of the Furious, but continue.
Oh my goodness, that would have been great. That is the end of the show,
I'm not
Jose.
doing whatever this
So,
There you are, Jose. Come on.
until next time, everybody, Guardians out.
Do it. Come on, Jose. He wouldn't do it. I knew he wouldn't do it. He's so...